Hello, ComicsGate. This is Rotten Glory. It's been over a week since I've done a live stream, posted a video. I've been very absent from things. I apologize for that. The main reason is, I've come to some realizations, come in contact with some truth I could not ignore. I really needed to step back and reevaluate what I'm doing with this channel, what I'm doing in my life in general, where I want to be 2, 3 years from now. And one of the main reasons for this shift for me is a guy named Owen Benjamin. He's a stand-up comedian, achieved high level of success in mainstream, but he had that ripped away from him by cancel culture. Comicsgate is hyper aware of how this works, SJW tactics, and Owen was somebody who he wasn't going to bend the knee. He wasn't going to hold back in his life, and especially in his comedy. Um, Truth in comedy is very valuable to the world. When you try to limit that or remove truth from a comedian's repertoire, it really becomes useless. Specifically, when it came to the transgender agenda being pushed on children, Owen absolutely stood up against that, publicly refused uh, to call it anything but what it is, which is child abuse. So when that happened, his career was instantly ripped away. His ability to make a living in mainstream, gone. That was over. So his response to that was, he started a YouTube channel, hours a day of him just speaking his mind, going down rabbit holes, figuring shit out, making mistakes, making messes, but acknowledging those, moving forward, and just this constant evolution of his awareness, what he was doing, and everybody got to experience this in real time with him, which was fascinating because if you're someone like me who went down these rabbit holes, who spent a lot of time trying to get at some truth and really becoming aware just how deceptive the construct of this world is. That was typically something you did. It was more private. It was something you kind of went through in a bit of isolation. So to be able to engage someone who was going through it in real time this way, it was very fascinating. Um, while he was doing that, he continued being a stand-up comedian. He would perform anywhere he could. People that valued him and what he was doing and his refusal to bend the knee to this bullshit, they would let him use their spaces, like an airplane hangar, a warehouse, a barn. So he continued selling out shows, creating specials, and in the meantime, started straight up homesteading. This guy he's growing food, raising animals, goats, chickens, ducks, alpacas, really, really nearing a place of self-sustaining. And that's in the context of, community around him as well, building relationships with people in the real world, built on trust. And so that, just that whole being able to see someone go from living in a condo in LA and living a certain kind of lifestyle there, and then being able to watch him transition to homesteading and still doing the thing that he's great at, comedy, and leveraging that to do uh, what he's doing in a very unique way. It really hit hard for me. And I think we're living in this world, right? That the absurdity factor is being turned up daily, it seems. With this virus and wearing the mask and riots and violence in the streets, mostly isolated to very densely populated areas. Um, things are getting hectic out there, and the thing that I've realized and come to is there isn't going to be a return to normal. I know this is the hope. This people just maybe the election will happen and there might be a bump in chaos, but it'll start slowing down and returning to some kind of normalcy after that. But that isn't going to happen because what we're in is a Ponzi scheme. If you're living in that world, if you're reliant on these systems, banking and uh, the systems of the world to provide yourself with food and everything you need for survival, uh, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's highly corrupt. It's built on debt and usury. We've known this for a long time. It's not like this isn't something most people have come to. What's kind of sad, and I speak to myself in this, is that even knowing it was a Ponzi scheme, even having that awareness, not just really not being willing to look at the fact that every Ponzi scheme comes to an end. This is a cycle. It's been going on for thousands of years. Just look at history. This crash and burn cycle with economies. This is nothing new. It just keeps happening over and over. There's only so long you can keep a pyramid scheme going. And what sucks about that is when a Ponzi scheme gets close to its final breath, as that gets closer and closer, the lunacy employed to try and keep it going, it really becomes. And this is what we're experiencing. The reason things are so out of control and the absurdity factor has gotten so high in the media and in some of these cities is because it's a frantic race to keep this thing going to avoid the collapse that will it's around the corner. Who knows when it will happen. It could be a slow burn, but that is what we're facing. And the problem is, if you remain completely reliant on these corrupt systems for your food, water, electricity, housing, all of it, and safety, if you're going to remain completely reliant on that, and you're going to live in a highly populated urban area, the level of nonsense that you'll have to agree to, you will be uh, you will be asked to do things that you do not agree with. You will be asked to agree to lies. You will have to take the knee just to survive. And this is not a position I want to be in. I don't think anybody wants to be in that position. And the good news is, very simple solution. We just step away from it. And this is the thing that really, I think, got to me. The thing that really caused me to have to hit the pause button on what I'm doing, because this has always been a choice that we could make. What's happening in the world, this isn't something that's being done to us. There isn't some massive evil they that you can point to and place blame on. We've made these choices. We bought the tickets. We're taking the rides. And is it unfortunate that we were born into a world that offloads its responsibility, all of our responsibilities? We're talking about, growing our food, our water, our electricity, our internet, educating our kids, our clothes, um, our protection, every single thing in our lives. We've offloaded responsibility to some other entity, some other person, some corporation, a government. And this makes us incredibly weak. When you have that much reliance on anything, you're in a weakened position. It is not a good place to be, because while it might go smoothly for a time, inevitably there will come a point where demands are made of you, where you are asked to do things that you absolutely disagree with, that are destructive. You will be asked to agree to lies, um, just so you can have your little access to whatever it might be. And we're already seeing this happen. There are places that will not let you in the door if you don't have a diaper on your face. This is lightweight. This is going to escalate and continue to escalate because the Ponzi scheme is nearing the end of its cycle. So, I and it really sucks because we're at a place right now where all this offloading of responsibility, people don't even see it that way. People are, I go to my job, I earn my paycheck, therefore I I have taken responsibility for my life. I mean, I think that's a fairly common way of thinking, and it just isn't true. Um, yes, that is what we're basically conditioned to do. Just go earn your paycheck, and then you can use that paycheck for all of your needs. Everything will be taken care of for you. All you have to do is pay the price. Um, but we really need to start uh, looking at that in a different way and analyzing, is that the right way for us to live? Um, it we know that this currency we use, the fiat currency all over the world, it's debt based. It's backed up by nothing. It's another agreement. These are all agreements that we enter into. It's a choice we make, and it's not necessary. Um, if a guy living in a condo in LA can, over a matter of, what, 5 years, it hasn't been that long. If he can go from that to homesteading and living this kind of self-reliant lifestyle and escaping the madness of it all, if he can do that, any of us can do it. It's just a choice. Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to get up in the morning and put in the work to stand on your own 2 feet, to stop being reliant, to know that you don't have to agree to anything, that you don't have to accept lies as truth, that you don't have to bend the knee to nonsense, because you don't need anything they're selling. So what does this have to do with ComicsGate, this channel? Uh, I, I'd like to think that's pretty clear, because in a microcosm, ComicsGate is exactly what Owen did, is what ComicsGate has done. ComicsGate, is made up of fans and creators that got fed up with what mainstream was trying to push with their product, with their comic books. It wasn't working, didn't want it. At first, let's just try and maybe if we're loud enough and we put up a fight, they'll stop doing what they're doing. They're not going to stop. It isn't going to stop. So what ComicsGate has evolved into is a place where we've taken back responsibility for creating this thing that we love, this storytelling medium that for whatever reason, somewhere along the way, we fell in love with it. And we don't want what mainstream has on tap. Not interested in that anymore, because we know it's always gonna have that poison in it. It's always gonna have something in it that's just completely offensive, or we don't agree with, or it's just nonsense political agenda. So we've taken it back. We had access to the tools, printers, crowdfunding platforms, direct shipments to the customer. Um, we don't need mainstream. We built it ourselves. We've taken responsibility for creating our own product. So in that sense, ComicsGate is this microcosm for what I am now certain is the way we should be doing everything. We need to take it all back, okay? And it's not, if you get out of these major cities, if you get out into a more rural area, and you get a little bit of land, go in with other people. This isn't, this whole mentality that we all need to build our own little empire is it's another thing that's really kicking our ass. And it's not talking about some kind of commune mentality or communism, nothing like that. Everybody should have their own piece of land, and that they can work, and that they can produce on and build on and grow on. But trying to do that alone, trying to do that without having people around you that you trust, because there's going to come a time. Look, there, defunding the police, all of this craziness. It isn't just some political idea. The pension, the money isn't there. Teachers, police, this cross section of people were promised a vast amount of money upon retirement. The pyramid scheme cannot feed it. It's not going to happen. So all of these things that are happening, it's very real, and if we want to have safety, if we want to have food, healthy food to eat, and we want to have productive lives, we're going to have to take that responsibility back. We're going to have to start doing these things on our own. And dude, 100 people living in close proximity to each other, all producing, kicking ass, growing food, building, and looking out for each other, armed to the teeth, of course. You're not getting in there. You can't break that. And this is about trust. It's about building actual, real relationships with the people around you, and being willing to get up in the morning and do the work. So this is what's been weighing on me, and I'm absolutely here. Here's the thing, I'm about as far away from being self-reliant as a guy can get. Every single thing I need in my life, I rely on some external system, entity, government, to provide to me. I make a paycheck, and everything I need is bought. This is incredibly weak. Beyond that, my state as a human being, like I have been drinking way too much. I've cut that out. I haven't had anything to drink in maybe a week and a half. Does that mean I'll never drink again? I can't. I don't know. That's the goal. I have no interest in it. It's just, I've let it go. But I'm still, my physical condition, I've been sitting at a computer for years now, just all day, every day. I don't know any of my neighbors. Both me and my lady have kind of naturally always just kind of isolated, do our own thing. That hasn't been part of our lives, like building relationships with people. My physical condition is horrible. I'm still smoking cigarettes. I've still got vices. How I spend my time it's just nothing about what I'm doing lends itself to actual freedom, being a free human being. Standing on my own 2 feet, and just kicking back, earning a paycheck, and then kicking back and saying you've done your job. It's not going to cut it moving forward, guys, unless you want to be in that meat grinder. If you want to stay in that and continue to agree to nonsense, and that they're just going to keep cranking that volume up, people. It's if you think you're going to be able to float by in the middle, not make any waves, and just kind of go along with everything that's happening, it's not going to go that way. There will come a point where you will be asked to agree to something or do something to have your access to things you need, that you will be adamantly opposed to. It's gonna break your heart to have to make that decision. And if you're in a position where your only path to survival is buying that ticket, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot, and we don't need to be there. We don't need to be in that weak of a position. So this channel moving forward is going to be absolutely going to be about ComicsGate. That's not going to change, because ComicsGate is based. We're doing the right thing. We've taken responsibility back. We're creating our own comics, building a network out This is the microcosm of what we need to be doing, big scale. Beyond that, I want to get on. I want on this path. I want on this path to being more self-sustaining. How far can I take that? I don't know. But I think they're just like it was valuable for so many people to watch Owen go through his process in real time, to watch him evolve and grow and become this person. Uh, I think there's value in that for people. And I'm telling you, if I can achieve any level of success of breaking away and becoming self-sustaining and actually building relationships out in the world, if I can do that from where I'm at right now, anybody can do it. Like literally anyone would be able to do that. And maybe that lends some inspiration. Maybe that motivates some people, more people. I'd love to see more people doing this. So the other component of the channel is going to be delving into these kind of topics, and also kind of giving you updates and showing you what I'm doing to try and get there. And I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm not gonna. It's not going to be easy because the habits I have formed over the years are just so bad. I've got to break away from so many things that are destructive and aren't doing me or anyone around me any favors. So this is where I'm at. I really I'm excited about it, and I can't wait to get back to a regular schedule with the channel, but with this added focus, new purpose. I think it's going to be a really positive thing, and I'm just looking forward to it. So that's where I'm at. I hope you hang out, stay with me, and let's see where it goes. Let's just see where it goes. Thanks, guys.